All right, welcome officially. I'm excited to move with you. If you have some music at home that you want to put on, please do. Sometimes it's just what you need to get through. So let's get started. So we're going to start standing. You don't need to be necessarily right near your bar, but we'll just warm up the body a little bit. Make sure you have a little space around you. Okay. So find your feet nice and parallel and ground the four corners of the feet, and then really lift away from the ground and make sure that you're connected in your center and ready to breathe. What's so nice about virtual classes is make as much noise as you need to, take up as much space as you need to, and breathe as loudly as you want to. So on the inhale, let's breathe the arms up overhead, and then on the exhale, we'll drag the palms through heart center to prayer. And we'll repeat that just a few times. Inhale, ease up. Breathe up, exhale, pull down. One more time, inhale, gaze up, breathe up, exhale, pull down. Beautiful. Stretch the arms out from the shoulders, push through the heels of the hands, and make some small circles that originate on the back side of the body. That's it. And just really stir the scapula. So feel like you're moving the scapula like you can imagine them like dinner plates. And then reverse your direction, trying not to hike up in the tops of the shoulders. One more breath here. We want to really warm up the shoulder joints before we start adding weight to them. So this is the first step to that. And then we're going to take the arms by the side and one at a time, backstroke those arms. And you can even let the torso turn a little bit so that you have a greater range of motion. Just one more and then we'll reverse. So come forward. I was saying to someone the other day, this used to be like a dance move, right? But this is not for fun dancing. It's for functional mobility. Good, one more time to each side. That's it, beautiful. Now take those arms and stretch them overhead and pull into the shoulders. And we're gonna open the feet and close. So inhale, open, exhale, close. Inhale, open, exhale, close. One more time. And then we're going to hold that little first position. Time your elevates just to sort of feel your way into the legs. Check in with the ankle joint. Make sure you're not arching those ribs. Last 3 and 2. Last 1. Beautiful. And then stretch out to your second position. Slowly slide down that wall. You can relax the hands. Tuck the tail under. Release the tail to extension and then draw it straight down to neutral. Gorgeous. Push into the outer edges of the feet, and we're going to side bend here. So we'll drop one elbow toward the thigh and reach long out of the waist. Yes, that's it. A few more times. Really opening up in a lateral direction so that the ribs open, but we're keeping everything side to side, nothing front to back. One more time to each side. Beautiful. And then with hands on the thighs, turn the toes to parallel, keep the knees bent and slide your hands down to flat back. So it looks like this. You could use blocks or just prop the hands up on the legs, respecting the knee joint. Stay here for a breath. Stretch your sitting bones away from the tips of your ears. And then walk down and out to your mat. Gorgeous. I'll turn to the side so you can see me better. So from here, we're going to find table. We'll exhale to hug the belly to the spine and find cat. If this isn't right for you, just draw the tail down between the legs. And then on the inhale, reach the head and tail away from one another as you widen the collarbones and lift to cow. Gorgeous. Now come back to center and take that pelvis and start to make circles through just the hips. So sort of resist the floor with the hands. And maybe after 3 or 4, you take those hip circles in the other direction, then they're really a chance for you to not just roll around, but also to come into extension and that tilt. Last time, beautiful. Walk your hands forward. Find your knee down plank. Feel some strength here as you lift the belly up to the spine, and then very slowly bend the elbows and lower with control to the mat. Stretch the legs long out from the hips, and then bring the fingers to little tents out from the shoulders. Glide the shoulders down, lift the belly away from the mat, and as you inhale, Float up to a little heart lift. Exhale to lower. 2 more times. Inhale, reach out and away from the body. Find the extension in the upper part of the spine. Last time. And then bring the hands under the shoulders. Hug the belly up and back to child's pose. Stay here for just a breath or two, feeling your way into the hips. Just notice how you feel sort of in the hip flexors and in the shoulders. One more breath here. And then press through the ground and rise up. So we're going to grab our green band, do a little ab work this morning. You may also want a yoga block, because that way you can help take the hips out of the equation by activating the glutes a little. So we're going to sit up nice and tall. Take that block right between the knees if you wish, or anything. Could be a towel, could be a yellow ball. If you have one of those TheraBalls, those are great, obviously. Bring the feet a little close to you and really hug the femur bones up into the hip socket here. Grab under your thighs, inhale to lift your heart. Exhale, tuck your tail under and get that low back as round as you can. And when you're here, keep hanging on and keep hollowing the belly. So draw it in, draw it in, draw it in. Just one more time. And then when you feel like you couldn't possibly be any more connected, reach the arms wide. And just feel how much effort it takes without hanging on to use the abdominals, that pelvic floor lift, squeezing it on the block so that your hips don't take over when you get tired. One last breath, and then sit up tall. Let's find that shape again, but this time with the band. Inhale here. Reach that band right in front of your chest. Exhale, tuck just behind the sitting bones. Inhale, lift the band. Exhale, press down. If your hips feel unhappy, perhaps move your feet in a little closer, but we really got to find the work under the navel and use that block to help you. So squeeze the block, but also squeeze your glutes toward one another as you lift and lower. We're going to start to generate some heat in the center here. Say hello and good morning to the abs. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Now, if you can roll down, we're going to roll right down to the back and keep that tuck as we bring the legs up into the air. You can straighten them if you wish. And then we're going to reach the band straight up like we're trying to tap it to the toes. Of course, I don't think that's going to happen for me, but this is the goal. And it's not a forward flexion. It's a straight lift of the shoulders and a gliding down of the ribs. Last 4 and 3. You've got this. Strong legs that can be bent or straight. Last 1. Now bend the knees, relax the head for just a breath, and recommit to your imprint. Draw your tail down, lengthen low back into the mat. Gorgeous. Now from here, we're going to let the block fall. Woo! Curl up if you want, or keep the head down for single leg stretch. And as we stretch those legs out, we're going to pull that band apart. So little exhales. Think about long and strong legs. You're completely in control. You're not flinging through space and time. You're reaching the legs and then stabilizing through the pelvis. Little pulses here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to that tabletop position. We're going to reach over to the right and then sweep to the left. Sweep over the legs and back. Keep reaching that band, giving it just enough tension to hold. Rocking shoulder blade to shoulder blade. Almost there. Last 4 and 3. Gorgeous 2. And 1 to each side. And then bend those knees, place them down, bring the soles of your feet together. Open the hips for a breath. And then you can just place your band aside. We'll stand on the feet. We'll take the right leg over the left, reach the arms out from the shoulders, and let the knees fall to the left, gaze to the right, anchoring the right shoulder. Getting a big stretch not only through the torso, but up and over that hip. One last breath in, and then exhale, draw your navel to the spine. Feet come back to the center. Uncross and cross the other way. Squeeze your inner thighs together as the knees roll over to the right. Gaze back at that left palm. Open your heart. Open the left shoulder. One more big inhale. And exhale back to center. Beautiful. We're going to come up to sitting. You can either roll to one side or just rock your way up. And we're going to have our blocks at the ready here. So we're going to wake up those gluteal muscles before we stand. Just what you wanted to hear. Okay, so we're going to place the blocks shoulder width apart. You also want to make sure you have a little space behind you that you're not going to kick anything, all right? So we're going to bring the elbows down right under the shoulders as if we were going to do elbow plank. And we're going to keep the tail long and level. We'll take that, let's start on the left. Take the left leg out and tuck the toes under. Feel the belly lift to support your work. Now point the toe, squeeze the glutes, and stretch it to the ceiling, up and down. So we're going to do this without any shimmying, without any arching of the low back. And it's really not about your leg, right? It's about the glute squeezing. So small, controlled, long, right in the glutes. If you had to feel your hand right here, you could feel all the work. Last 3, good, and 2. Last 1. Now hold it up, bend the knee, and press. So little bend, big push out. Little bend, big push. Inhale, exhale. We're going to feel the hamstrings kick in here. We're going to make sure we're not opening the hip too much. So imagine that left hip shining down toward the mat. Last 3 and 2. Last 1. Now keep the bend and turn the hip open and then pulse up to the ceiling. So now your knee is facing to the left. We're going to do tiny, quick, controlled pulses all in the glutes. Here we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. One more set for 8, 7, 6. Really squeeze it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now here we'll stretch the leg long and we're going to come up onto the hands and we're going to come up into plank. We're going to take that same leg, bend it, stretch it out, and windshield wiper it back. Bend it, kick it out, and pull. Create some friction. Inhale and exhale. Just 2 more times, and then we'll get to the other leg. Last one. And bring the knees down. Beautiful. Other side. Go back to the elbows. Right leg comes out. Stretch into the heel first. Keep that tail level. Now, long toes, pointed toes, squeeze the right glutes to lift. Little pulses. Exhale to breathe your way up. Keep going. There you go. I could turn my mirror. Last 5, 4. You've got this. 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up. Now bend that knee and push out. Little bend, big push. Little bend, big push. Inhale, exhale. Good. That's it. For 5 and 4 and 3. Left knee is below left hip for 2. Last one. Now keep the bend, turn the hip open, and squeeze up to the ceiling. Little tiny pulses through those glutes. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last set. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that leg long and tuck it. Hands come to the blocks as we lift up into full plank. Take that right leg, bend it, reach it, sweep it. Bend it, reach it to the side, pull it back, creating friction. Here's 3. Here's 4. Last time. And release. Bring your knees down. Sit back here. Slide your block over to the left. Bring your right hand on top of the left and stretch along the diagonal line from the right fingers to the back of the right hip. Shift your hips a little bit to the right here as you breathe. And then come through center, take the block over to the right, left hand on top, hips out to the left, rest your head comfortably. Stretch from your fingertips all the way back into the hip. 1 more breath, and then back to center and release. Beautiful job. All right, we're ready to come to standing. So I'm going to do a tiny bit more spinal warming up, standing here. So have a chair on the outside of your right leg, and you can use the top of the chair for this. Okay, beautiful. So roll those shoulders back and down. Light hand on the chair or the bar. Make sure you can see all of me. So side bending first. Give yourself a little space. Inhale, breathe your arm up, set it in the socket, and then bend and lift. Inhale, stretch, exhale, lift. Inhale, stretch, exhale, lift. Inhale, stretch, exhale, lift. I hope you have the little space to move around your chair a little bit. We are going to turn and face it in a moment. For 3, and 2. Last one. Beautiful. Now keep that arm up. Take your outside leg and sweep it across in front of you. Exhale, pull through the heel. Inhale, stretch the toe. Yeah, scroll away from the floor. Find length in the legs and freedom in your hips for 3 and 2. Last one. Now we'll make, you don't have to angle in, but I will. And we're going to tip the whole shape and sweep to stand. Tip and sweep to stand. Nice flat spine. You want to get that standing leg to relax a little. For 4 and 3. Last 2 and 1. To transition, maybe you come around the back of your chair, or you could use the seat of your chair as well. We're going to sit into a little L shape, lifting those heels. Exhale, we'll tuck the tail under. Inhale, we'll reach it away. Exhale, round the low back. Inhale, reach. So you have to hollow that belly to get that mobility in the tail. Last 3, draw under. And 2, you can take it up the spine if that's right for you. Last 1, and release. Hands come to your thighs, roll your way up, and we'll come to the other side. So now, just because I'm not looking at you doesn't mean you can forget your form. Bring that shoulder into the socket, side bend, lift up. Inhale, bend, exhale, lift. Really arch and reach through those ribs. Imagine you have someone standing next to you, right under your rib cage that you're trying to arch over. Last 3 and 2. Last 1. Good, now we'll angle just a little bit, tip the shape and stand. I won't forget about the hip, don't worry. Inhale, tip, exhale, stand. Strong back body, just take your whole shape, tip and stand. Last 2. Last 1. And then keep that arm nice and tall, turn out and pull the leg across. So exhale, pull the heel, inhale, stretch. Exhale, pull, inhale, stretch. Just a few times. Try not to turn your hips, right? It's not a turn, it's a crossing of the midline. Last 2 and 1. Beautiful. And wherever you are, just run it out a little. Work through the heels, the ankles, the knees, the hips, before we really get going here. Last 3 and 2. Last 1 and release. Shake it all out. Okay, so we're gonna get into the calf muscles a little bit. So what I want you to do is be behind your chair and make sure it's sort of sturdy so you can lean on the top of it, whether that's up or down. All right, we're gonna come into a nice wide position with the feet. So here we are. And we want to feel like we're in a bit of a plank. Parallel toes, lift that belly, and then we're just going to releve, up and down, up and down. Good. Now, if you felt like your chair wasn't super secure, obviously the bar is, you could do this standing up straight and tall and not lean so much weight. This is just a little chance to not only get the calves alive, but also the quads and the belly. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now bend one knee and slowly run. So this should feel like more of a stretch, but we really do want to wake up the calf muscles. Try not to roll in or out. Last 4 and 3, 2, and 1. Good. Land your heels and then turn them out. You should have a good amount of space between your heels, about shoulder width. Make sure you're in plank, settle your shoulders, and lift up and down again. Well, I don't know about you guys at home, but my calves are definitely waking up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, you got this, 2, 1. Land the heels, bend one knee, and run side to side. You'll feel a little shift here. Good, for 3 and 2. Nice and slow. Last 1. Turn your toes forward and come into a flat back and then shift side to side through those shoulders. I'm just giving you a tiny intermission before we come back up. 3, 2, 1. Gorgeous. Come to stand. Bring your legs close to touching. Find that plank again. Here we go. Lift and lower. Good. That's it. Oh, so it's not just muscle work. We want to feel long in the legs, but we're really warming up the ankle. 3, 2, 1, bend one knee, slow running. You just got one more position to work in. I'm sure you're hanging in there. Last one to each side. Good, so now we'll turn out with the heels touching. Make sure you're not here. Try to be in that plank. Lift and lower. Roll through those ankles. You're almost there. Use your breath. Go to your happy place. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend one knee and slowly pedal those heels side to side. For 4 and 3. Last 2. And finish. Gorgeous. All right, grab a block. So now we're sort of warm from here to here. We're gonna get warmer from here to here now. All right, so grab a block. Right between the knees. We wanna really squeeze in on that block. And just come to, you probably want a light hand on your chair, whether it's next to you or in front of you. Okay. 4 slow lifts just to get in the right shape. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Now inhale, lift and hold. Make sure everything's connected in your center. Bend your knees and sit your tail straight behind you. Tuck your tail, release it long to extension, find neutral. Squeeze that block, lift your heart and gaze, and pulse from your tail, like you're trying to slide your tail to kiss your heels. So, and we want to make sure we're not gliding forward and back. It's really up and down, very heavy in the pelvis. For 8, 7, 6. You got this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now just hold it down, squeeze in on that block, and imagine you're trying to draw your kneecaps up to your hips. The heels are still lifted if you can. We're generating some heat. So this is a hold, but it's lots of work. For 4, you got this. For 3, for 2, and 1. Stand tall, release the legs, release the work. We're gonna place the block behind the left knee. So I'm just squeezing it. We're gonna stay in parallel, and we're gonna bend that standing leg just a little bit. And then we're gonna push the block leg straight back. And I'll show you from an angle. Push, push. So I'm really squeezing your block. If you lose your block, it's okay. This can be done without it. It will certainly work. And what's kind of sneaky about it is really the work is in this standing leg that has a soft knee. Last one. And now we're going to take it out to the side. Up, 2, 3, and down like we're resisting between the thighs. Up, 2, 3, and down. You got this. Little inhales and a big exhale. Try not to hike your hip up. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Exhale like you've got a thigh master between the legs. Last one. And release. Shake it out. Ooh, we're going to do the other side. So you might want to turn around. I just want you to be able to see me. So block behind the opposite leg. Start in parallel. A little bend of that standing knee. Lots of lifting your spine. Push back. Flex the heel, right? So toes push down so that your hamstrings turn on, your glutes are working, the thigh is gonna work here as you stand tall. Relax the top part of the half of your body for a minute. You got it. Push straight back, don't swing. Push and return. For 4 and 3, standing legs starting to wake up. 2. Last one, now we take it to the side. Up, 2, 3, resist. Don't let this knee do anything wonky. So squeeze the glutes on a standing leg. Up, 2, 3, and down. And you might not have a big range of motion. You don't want to swing, so keep it small. Last 3, 2, 3, down, 2, 2, 3. You got it. Last 1, 2, 3, release. Shake it out. So we're going to get into the arms now, which might be a welcome release. A little water if you need it. And we'll grab the weights. So we're not going to be always moving fast today, but there's still going to be plenty of work. So I'm going to choose raise for this one. Okay, so this whole series, we're going to move through full range of motion repetitions, holds, and pulses. It's a little bit of a marathon. So stay in there and breathe. We'll start with the kind of hardest one first, which is shoulders. So stand pelvically neutral, whether that's bending your knees a little bit or turning out. You want the tail long and the belly engaged. Now we're going to sweep the weights up overhead, little goalposts. But we don't want to be up here, right? So settle those shoulders down. Gorgeous. Then we're going to push up and pull wide. Please don't worry about tapping your weights at the top. It's not necessary, and for most of us, it just makes us lose the neck. So instead, reach up and pull down with control. Think even more about the pulling down than the pressing up. And really think about keeping your collarbones wide and lots of space around the ears. Last 4, not fast, 3, here's 2, and 1. Now hold it down here and just hold. Settle the shoulders into their pockets. This is a great time to check in with your ribs. Make sure the ribs are weaving together and pulling down toward the hips. You're nice and long through the spine. The tail is neutral. I'm just trying to talk to you so you get distracted. And now tiny pulses, little slides from your back. All right, almost there. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. You do not need heavy weights to make that work. Okay, we're going to turn out bicep curls. Keep the shoulders where they belong. Keep the ribs together. So really pull through space. Now your biceps tend to be stronger than the muscles that we just worked. That's why I saved this for second, so that even if you were tired, you'd still have some steam left with these strong biceps. So again, right, it's very easy to like throw this away. Squeeze those weights, create resistance. Yes, the weights are adding work, but you also need to add work by connecting the mind to what you're doing. We have a little turnout through the shoulder, and we're squeezing those elbows into the ribs. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're gonna hover. So it's just like we're holding 2 heavy dinner plates and we don't want anything to fall. Imagine something really delicious on there that you worked all day on. You won't let it drop. Keep the heart open, the glutes soft. You don't need to squeeze your glutes here. Just a little sense of alive activity between the inner thighs. For 4 and 3, 2, and then tiny pulses. We're going to squeeze in and wring it out. So we're adding. We've already sort of asked a lot of these muscles, and now we're just going to see what we have left. Sort of working towards muscle fatigue. Last 8 pulses. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, relax. Okay, we'll come back to these guys in a few minutes. All right, let's grab our bands. So shoulders, check. Biceps, check. I wouldn't want you to think I forgot about the triceps, so we're going to get there now. Okay. So we're going to start, though. Yeah, let's start with the triceps. So we're going to stand on the band with the left leg only. And then we're going to step the right foot forward. So we're in this little lunge. I'll show you what it looks like from this side. Like this, like so. Okay. Beautiful. Now, your bands should be long enough, especially if you have these green bands, but you're going to play with tension and decide how much tension that you want. All right, so in this lunge, we're going to take the elbow, hug it forward, and just one arm overhead press. So I'm starting and I'm like, that's not a ton of tension. So I'm going to choke up a little, and then I'll have this nice friend in my face, but it's all right. We can take it. Okay, little bends and extends. Try to really keep your elbows sort of fixed in space and your wrists nice and long. For 8, 7, 6. You've got this. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to switch sides, and then we'll come back to that hold later. So this time my left foot's on the band. I'm going to step my right foot forward. I'll try not to step out of frame for you. I'm going to take that arm up overhead, keep my ribs down, hug my elbow in, and push up and down. So the elbow wants to come wide, don't let it. Hug it forward. Imagine you're doing both at the same time. If it helps you to do both arms to move through the movement at the same time, go for it. That way you can imagine your elbow having some magnetic connection to the other elbow. All right, almost there. I'm getting an incidental nice stretch in my calf muscle. 8, 7, 6. Don't let that elbow wing out. 5, 4, 3, 2. Release. Take the band. Now we'll come into a more traditional position where we're going to step both feet on in a little chair. So we'll sit back to a little chair. Nice long palms. We're just going to sweep that band and both hands up and behind us. Here's your hold. Roll the shoulders together. Open the heart, but keep the ribs closed. And just hold. Create work. This is hard for me. Triceps tend to not be as strong as biceps, right? So now it's like, okay, we've done a lot for 5 or 4 or 3, 2, and then little pulses, tiny straight on pulses. Make sure the work is behind the upper arms. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then stand tall and push the band back with a full posture, squeezing shoulders to spine. Feeling my hand on your upper back in between the shoulders, that's where the work is. Almost done. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, release. Nice job. Band aside for now. Stretch those arms out a little. All right, we're gonna get a little more dynamic in movement here with the weights. So we're gonna move through a punch and plank series. So make sure you have a little space to step back into plank. Make sure you have a little space behind you and around you for the punches. Okay, so we're gonna do different variations of punches and different variations of planks. All right, so first we'll turn out and step out. We're gonna slide down that wall, and I want you to not move the weights first. So turn, come to center, pivot, back to plie. So lunge to plie. And once we have this correct, then we can safely add the arms. And the punch then comes from all the way down in the hip, up through the abs, and then just extends the arms. But it's not so much about the arms as it is about your center. All right. Now add breath. Bend and turn. Try not to hyperextend your elbow through the punch. This is really the whole body. Last 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Stand tall. Place your weights down and step back to plank. All right. So we're going to turn and pull up the left hand. If you don't like your hand on the weights, put your right hand on the mat. Turn to side plank. Pull up and open. I don't love that on my wrist, so I'm going to put my hand on the floor. Pull up and open. Turn back. Pull up and open. Turn back. 2 more. Side plank with lift. 1 more. Back. Step forward. Roll up through the spine if you can. Turn out. Slide down that wall. This time it's different. We're going to punch, but keep the legs still. So I'm turning my palm down when I punch forward and then pulling it to my hip with the palm up. Yes. Still about the torso, right? If I had a swishy shirt on, you'd see it swishing. It's not so much about the shoulders. Almost there. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll down, step out to plank. So opposite hand on the floor. We're going to twist up, open to the ceiling, control the landing. Twist up, come back. Breathe. You got this. Don't let your low back dip. Last 2. You can do it. Turn on the feet. Last 1. Back to center. Step your way up. Grab those weights. Come nice and wide, sit back, and pull the weights in like you've got rope, heavy rope. Do not hit yourself in the chin. It sounds silly, but it's easy to do. You want to really have a long back here, pulling from the belly. And now push it out. Like almost like you're running now. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, release. Good job. All right, moving on. We're going to combine some legs and a little more bicep work. So you can use a bar if you wish. I don't think you'll need it. We're going to step back, lunge, and curl. Parallel legs. We're going to step the right foot back and curl in. So it looks like this. And stand tall. Curl, stand. Now you've got to squeeze the glutes on the left leg, right here, so that this front knee is stable and it's not doing that, right? Bend your back knee. Don't be on a balance beam. Make sure your feet have their own separate tracks. Last 4, 3, 2. Step back and hold here. Hook the weights on your shoulders and pulse. Slide up and down with your tail. Again, you can see this front knee. It's happy. It's in line. I'm using my glutes to support it. Back knee is pulsing and my spine is straight. My pelvis is neutral. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Step forward, shake it out. Other side. So we're ready to step back and curl, pull up. Now, if your knees don't love this, you could use a chair. You could stay in the lunge pulse, which you know is coming. Anyways, use the glutes in that opposite leg now in the front, right leg. Try to swing the weights, curl them. For 4 and 3. You got this too. Last one. Now we hold it. Put the weights on the shoulders. Bend both knees. Slide up and down. Breathe. Almost there. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Front knee in alignment. 2, 1. Release. Great job, guys. Get rid of those weights. Take a sip of water. Okay. We have 2 more working songs, and then we'll stretch. Alrighty, so let's get the heart rate up just a little more, and then we'll hit the mat for the last song. Okay. So let's get your bar on your right side. Make sure you have a little space out to the left and a little space toward the bar because we're going to squat and tip. Parallel legs, light hand. So we're going to sit back to a squat, push through the ground and lift the leg in the air. Okay? So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Sit back. Push away like you're resisting the ground when you rise. Don't let those knees knock in. Some of you know who you are. Now we're going to squat, kick. So we're going to bend that knee and then extend through the heel. And it's not so fast that we lose control. Last 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Come down here, squat, tap, side bend. Tap, side bend. Sit it back, stand tall. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last 3, 2, last 1. Stand up, turn out, find your second. Slide down that wall. Little pulses or little hops. And you can use the bar or not. If you're hopping though, you're controlled. When you land, it's toe ball heel. If you're pulsing, it's not easier. Squeeze your glutes together in the back. 4, 3, 2. Fighter stance. Elbows in front of chest. Turn those ribs. Feel your lungs breathing. And it's not just the arms, right? It's this, torso. Almost there. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. We only have one more side. Turn around. Little space. Squat, tip and stretch. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Start lifting this leg as soon as you start to stand. Exhale, pull the belly up. Use your abs, your pelvic floor to expel that breath. Last one, then we'll add the kick. Squat, bend and kick. Squat, bend and kick. Inhale. Exhale, make sure you squat back, not forward over the knees. Last 4, 3, 2, 1. Now squat back and tap, stand and side bend. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Almost there. 4. You got this. 3. Big stretch. 2. Last one. Turn out. Slide down. Pops or pulses. Pulses, after you've done all that, can keep the heart rate up and really get in the legs. So 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll finish with our twists. Don't let the hips go with you. Almost there. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done. Awesome job. So we're going to come to the mat for one final song. I'm just going to suggest you have everything nearby so that you can be at the ready. Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of everything. Let's take a block. Again, band is close. And we're going to lay on down. That's a good sign, right? Just nod your pelvis. Make sure you can let go of the work a little. Gorgeous. All right, so a little abs, a little glutes, a little planking, kind of putting everything together. So we'll start with the block between the knees. We'll make sure the heels are parallel and somewhat close to the sitting bones. We're going to roll up to bridge, really controlled here. Now, first we're going to squeeze the glutes like crazy. And it's not just squeezing them up, right? We don't want to overextend the low back, but squeezing them in toward one another. And let that be the beginning of where the block is held. Starting from here. Hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now lower about halfway, tuck your tail under, and then release it long. A little tuck, release it long. A little tuck, release it. Tuck. Now find neutral and squeeze in the block. Little tiny pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last set of 8, 7, 6. You've got this. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, start rolling down. When your low back finds imprint, bring the legs up in space. Okay. Now, check in with that imprint. Make sure it's about the muscles, not the bones. Squeeze your knees together and press your heels apart. So it looks kind of like that. Okay. Knees together in, so you're sort of medially rotated in the femur bones, and then pressing apart through the outsides of the feet. Press and hold. Tuck your tummy, draw your tail down between your legs like it's a rope that you're gathering in, tethered down below. Now, if you'd also like to add flexion, curl up and stretch your pinky edges toward your pinky toes and hold. Feel that heat build. It's just a hold. If you need your hands behind your head, but you'd still like to curl up, that's an option too. My legs are getting lazy. I'm not going to let them for 4 or 3, 2, and lower down. Hug your knees. Release your hips. We're going to roll to the belly for plank. And I'm actually going to keep my block right here. You could reassemble or reorganize, I mean, if you need to, okay? So first, the block between the knees. And we're gonna keep table position, press the ground away, tuck the toes and hover. So you're gonna hold that little bear shape, that little knee hover. Make sure your back is nice and flat. Your belly is lifted, it's alive, it's in control. And again, you're squeezing that block from the glutes, from the hips. Hold and breathe. Build a little heat in between the shoulders too, as you have slight puff between the shoulder blades. For 4, for 3, 2, release. Last thing, we're gonna take the block the long way, and I have shorter legs than anyone, so if it fits on me, it'll probably fit on you. And then we're gonna step to full plank. We're gonna draw the tail down between the legs and hold. And this is it. It's your last effort of class. For 8, 7, you've got this. 6, 5, strong arms. 4, long necks. 3, alive thighs. 2, belly connected. Lots of breath. 1, done. Relax back. It might be nice to plop the block between your heels and your tail, and then sit back fully. And if your head doesn't reach the floor, you might use your other block under your forehead or stack up your hands. Get the block sort of back, the breath sort of back in control. Congratulate yourself on a job well done. One more breath here. So we're gonna do a few moving stretches before, we'll move as we get the heart rate down, and then we'll come to some more static stretches. So I would use both blocks for this. I'm gonna be on a little angle, hopefully that you'll be able to see me well. So let's step the left knee forward, and we're gonna move in and out of lunge, and that's why I want you to have your blocks. So make sure you're not right on that back knee, that you're sort of in front of it, and the pelvis has come gently down and forward. And on an inhale, we'll be here. On an exhale, we're gonna pull the sitting bones back, flex the toes, and stretch the hamstrings. So we'll move front to back. So inhale, land the foot, relax the hip, lift the posture. Exhale, keep the back straight, but hinge forward. It's a hip hinge as you pull the toes up. Inhale forward, lift the heart. Exhale back. Now we'll stay on this one. Make sure your sitting bones are level and push the toes down to the mat. Oh, I love this stretch. If you prefer the toes up, you can do that too. One more breath. Now we take this left leg, slide it out to the side, and we're going to side bend down that leg. So we'll breathe the spine up and open the side body. Try not to push on your knee, but try to keep the foot landed. One more breath here. Good. And then lift. And if you can, sit back a little further and open the inner thigh. So again, I'm reaching the tail and the sitting bones behind me, just as I was doing for the hamstring stretch. Make sure your knee is happy though. One more breath. And then rise and switch. So start tall, give yourself plenty of space, and step that right foot forward plenty so that you have room for the hips to land and for the knee to stay over the ankle. And then adjust your blocks so that you can have this really nice, long, tall spine and this heart shine. Inhale here. Exhale, reach the sitting bones equally back as you draw the toes up and elongate the back of the leg. Remember, this is not a stretch for behind your knee. So if you feel it there most, maybe soften it just a hair. Let's move. Inhale forward. Make sure the spine lifts. Exhale, flat back hip hinge. Level across the back of the pelvis. One more moving. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back. And now we stay here, and if you liked it, press the toes down. Oh, open the ankle and shift the stretch around in the hamstring group. One more breath. And that knee a little and lift tall. Move that leg out. Oop, I don't know, you'll be able to see. Inhale, breathe up, land parallel from toes to heel. Stretch in your side bend. Hopefully that feels really nice. And lift your way back up. If you liked sitting back, sit back carefully, trying to get away from the knee and open up the inner thigh of that long leg. Beautiful job. More breath here. Gorgeous. Pull that knee back in under you. Take your blocks and really stack them up to support the weight of your head, whatever that looks like for you. And then hands behind your low back to open the shoulders. Clasp them and stretch them away from you. They might not lift high, but we want them to lift long. Let the shoulders roll down and back. Gently release that work. Beautiful. All right, with 2 blocks in hand, we're going to come down for a little bit of quiet. So we'll first start with supported fish. So we're going to line the bottom of the block up with the bottom of the shoulder blades. And you can orient it in different ways, but it is important that the bottom line is at the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. And then your heart and chest should be able to expand over that block and maybe catch your head on a second block. If you don't have a second block, you can always use, I know, might have said this earlier, you can always use books or pillows. Now from here, choose a position with the legs that makes you happy, whether that's knock knees or butterfly knees or bridge knees. Just be happy here. Let the heart open. Stretch the juncture of the shoulder and the chest, and let the head feel fully supported. Big breaths into the heart, into your face, releasing tension above the eyebrows and the jaw, in the backs of the eyes. One more big breath. And slowly release, support your head as you come up. You can also roll to the side. We are headed down onto the belly, so you might just want to roll. Relax the left side as you reach your right hand back. Pull the right knee in back under the hip, and then push the foot into the hand for a quadricep stretch. Relax the front of the hip, elongate the thigh, but a little effort here tells the brain to tell the muscles that we are going for some length. One more breath. And then gently release and switch sides. Good. So sometimes I have to come out here to get the foot, and then I draw it back in. I'm going to relax my head, open my shoulder, relax the hip, and make the leg awake. One more breath. Gently release. Take those blocks, if you have them, ahead of you. Place the palms on them. Split your feet apart and let the heels roll in. Inhale, roll the shoulders back and down. Draw the elbows down your back, and then lift your heart. If it's too much with the blocks, you can bring your hands to the floor, or you can prop up in Sphinx as well. Stay here for a breath, turning your gaze to the right and the left, leaving lots of space around your ears. And releasing down, hands under the shoulders, hips up and back. We'll come up to the knees, and we'll just gently twist out the waist, a little spinal rotation before we go. So stay balanced front to back, and just gentle swings. Nice and easy, should feel nice on the spine. Don't work too hard. For 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Hands to the mat, tuck your toes, hover your knees and push up and back into a downward dog while you pedal the heels a little to release those calf muscles. One more breath to each side, and then you can either walk your hands back to your feet or your feet forward to your hands, and slowly unravel the spine, finding your best alignment as you stand. Gorgeous. Heels together, toes apart, final first position. Sweep the arms up overhead and settle those humerus bones into the shoulder sockets. Inhale, lift for your balance. Exhale, lower with control. Inhale, high release. And you're done. Wonderful job, everyone.